Hey, are we sending votes to Cheryl or Tamara tonight? Or this afternoon, rather, if anyone's listening?
that it is broadcasting onto YouTube Live so the public can see them. But that's the situation, and Sean's trying to fix it for now. All right, so I'll call the meeting to order. There, sorry. For December 20th, 2021. Attendance at the start of the beginning is Councillor Killick, Mackay, and Broadhead, and myself in chambers. And I see Councillor Jolly and Councillor Hughes and Councillor Romansky. All right, everyone's here 100% with 3 virtual. Can I have a motion to adopt the agenda as presented? Thank you, Councillor Mackay.
That's pretty good. They already got my name up there. Tamara, you're.
Okay, I think you have to mute either your speakers,
I don't have my speaker on.
or maybe it's.
It was me.
There, much better. I still hear. Councillor Brown, you're
Yeah.
And Councillor Mackay, you're not muted either.
I'm not even on audio. I
Okay.
haven't joined with audio
Okay,
yet.
you're right. All right. Motion to adopt the agenda?
I think my wife would like to have that ability, not have joined with audio. Anyways, that the December 20th, 2021 agenda be adopted as presented.
All right, I will call for the vote. All those in favor? Those online, just throw in the chat, yes or no. Voting's closed. Motion passes unanimously. We have a presentation from Mr. Jim Bijou. And is he online with us? Yes, he is. All right.
Yes, I am. That's right.
Thank you for joining us. Did I say your last name correctly?
Bijou. It's close. Yeah, really close.
Thank you. All right. We can't see you. Do you want to turn your camera on?
Right. That's the joys of working at home. Someone has knocked and my dog is yapping now. So
Mr. Mackay is going to want to see the dog at one point. Anyway, hopefully you've been told that public presentations are allotted 5 minutes, so you can start speaking whenever you're ready.
okay, that should be more than enough. So thank you everyone for taking the time. What I'm inquiring about is I'm looking at a property in St. Albert that I know has been, I guess I'll say, a thorn in the side for residents and neighbors for a long, long time. And I'm looking at buying it in the hopes of cleaning it up and bringing it up to, I guess, a livable standard, which I would say it shouldn't be today. The property's on Mission Ave. It's 4 individual fourplexes. And I know I've spoke to, several people about this in the past, and everyone just kind of shook their head, and they know exactly the site and the troubles that it brings along with it. And I know I've spoke to some of the neighbors about it, and they've said, they just shake their head and say, we don't know what to do. There's police showing up, way too many calls for that type of thing, and just questionable people coming in and out. So what I'm wondering is, does council have any type of funding or grant that would be permitted to, I guess, assist to some degree in the development of this? I'm not looking for a partnership or a big amount, but I'm just looking at something, or at least, taxes, a tax break, something along those lines.
Okay, I'm going to open it for questions because I'll start myself. So did you say that there are 4plexes?
Yeah, on Mission Ave, 81 to 87 Mission Ave.
Okay, I think I'm familiar. So there's 4 different units of 4plexes?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'm very familiar with it. I think you probably know that we don't have a grant or any kind of funding or even anything in policy to allow for tax breaks, but that doesn't mean we couldn't. So I think this is probably a good place to start. I think allow the presentation to be brought to the public realm, allow council to have a conversation. So what this does is it allows us to have a conversation about it. We're probably not going to do it right here and now. And we probably would do it kind of, quietly, because we don't want to be providing tax breaks to everyone who wants to buy property. But this is a unique location in St. Albert, I would think. And so I don't know, council, do you have any questions for Mr. Bijou? Are they for sale right now?
They're not listed, so I've actually approached the owner directly.
And he's willing to sell?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'm just making sure my councillor colleagues at home don't have any questions. If you guys have a question, just speak up because I can't see the chat button. There we go. I can see it now.
No, I think Mayor Herron, you already answered this question in November. So I think we've all got that.
But I think I did suggest coming to council so we could have a further and deeper conversation about it. I believe. But obviously, as I said, I'm not going to do that publicly or here today, but it has brought it into the public consideration. And can we get back to you on your request?
Yeah, absolutely. Could
Okay.
I ask when that might be, when you guys would have a meeting on this?
Probably not. So then definitely after the holiday season, maybe sometime in the spring. Is there a deadline on this?
Well, yeah, I mean, I need to decide what I'm doing. Is it possible to have an answer by the end of January?
Oh,
I think that's possible. Councillor Mackay, did you have a question?
Pardon me. I guess I just had a question, more probably to administration later on.
Yeah.
Or maybe Mr. Bijou, have you been already in contact with anybody in our administration?
I just sent an email to a couple of emails. I sent the initial one to the mayor and then follow up, I believe, to Councillor Jolie. But that wasn't really specifically on this property.
All right. Well, I think what we can do maybe just from we're just to get the, and this is just my suggestion is we can commit to getting you the name of an individual within our administration to start the conversation and maybe get a little bit more details as to that, not only the property, but some of the other issues about what we can and can't do. And I mean, that would be a commitment that we could make to you. I can't guarantee you that we would have any specific information that would lend us to maybe getting into some sort of deal before the end of January, though, sir. I just don't know whether we could commit to that today anyways, without knowing more details.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I mean, again, if you guys have questions, you want more details, I'm happy to provide that now, but if you need time, I completely understand that as well.
I have a question if.
Go ahead, Councillor. Go ahead.
Hi, I just have a question. Are you planning on evicting the people that are living there immediately? And are you planning on refurbishing the buildings as is or rebuilding in that area?
No, so yes to the first part about eviction. I'm asking the current owner to have the vacants turned over, to have the building turned over vacant. And yeah, I'm not knocking them down, but I would be refurbishing, spending a fair bit of money to bring these, up to where they should be, just because nothing's been done on these. I went and viewed a vacant one and there's mice traps and, dead mice laying around. And I kind of questioned it and said, this is like someone's moving in here tomorrow. And he said, yeah. It just blew my mind.
So the landlord's just letting the property sit as is what you're saying then?
Yeah, he just hasn't spent any money on it.
And doesn't really focus on who's renting it all then either?
No, I mean, it's rented, and that's the thing, is it's renting and it's generating as much income as it's going to, like there's upside in rents. So I even had someone say, well, why don't you just buy it and keep it as is? And I just said, like, I don't want to deal with that type of tenant, and I don't think people should be living in these types of standards. My plan would be buy it, evict the tenants, buy it vacant, have the tenants evicted, and then put a bunch of money into renovate after the fact, and then re-tenant it.
Well, it's a good location for future, I guess. So, thank you. That's all the questions.
Okay.
So process-wise is these presentations are always welcome at the beginning of our meetings, and then the next piece of business on our agenda is actually business arising. So, I mean, there'll probably be some questions for our administrations. They might have knowledge of municipalities that do provide this kind of incentive, or maybe it's not a financial incentive, but something else the city could do for you. So yeah, I'll commit to by the end of January to getting back to you for sure.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you all. Have a good day. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, you too. We're on to business arising. Does anyone have any questions for administration? Sorry. I'll just start with either Kevin or Carrie. Do you know of any municipalities that do provide some sort of, yeah.
No, would not, but we have the ability to meet with them and maybe put them in the right direction on some of the things that they can do.
Okay, yeah. And maybe there's some non-financials that we could do to help, but anyone else have any questions? Sorry? Okay. All right, let's get on to the consent agenda. So hopefully you noticed that when you click on consent, it has 8.2, the budget on consent, but the budget is actually 8.1. 8.2 is the appointment of the interim CAO. So what is on consent is 8.1, the municipal and utility budgets. What is not on consent is 8.2. Just so you're clear what you're voting on. Does anyone want to make a motion on consent? I'll just pick on somebody. Councillor Jolly?
Absolutely. So the updated wording is, so it'd be 6.1, 7.1, 7.2. Okay, I've got it here.
Okay.
That the recommendations in the following agenda reports be approved. 6.1, regular council meeting minutes of December 6, 2021, and committee of the whole meeting minutes of November 2, 9, 10, December 2 and 7, 2021. 7.1, CLSC draft unadopted minutes and agenda items from December 13, 2021. 7.2, CLSC recommendation arising from Arts Development Advisory Committee. 7.3, CLSC recommendation honorarium payments policy. 7.4, civic agency appointments. 8.1, 2022 municipal and utility budgets. 9.1, bylaw 55, 2021, Shiro first redistricting land use bylaw schedule A amendment first reading. The councillor updates, there wasn't anything in there, was there?
No, I was going to call on you guys to give your updates verbally when we get
Okay,
there.
I'll leave that one off then.
Okay, sure. And that's it. All right, so call for the vote on that. Vote is closed. That passed unanimously. Pardon? I know. I won't read all. All right, where are we now? So I'm going to go through what we just passed on consent, I guess. So we passed the minutes from our regular council meeting on December 6th and the minutes from all our committee of the whole related to budget from November 9th, 2nd, 9, 10, and December 2nd and 7th. So that was all there. We passed the agenda package from the Community Living Standing Committee as information. We passed arising from, let me read this one into the record. So on consent, we've approved that council approved $38,000 to be withdrawn from the public art reserve to support the month-long temporary art installation Walk Walk Dance from the 2022 Children's Festival in June. So that will be exciting. 7.3, the motion was regarding our honorarium policy. That the proposed council policy CCAO 25 honorarium payments be amended to include provisions to require the CAO to report any individual honorarium payment amount over $500 to council and to submit the financials of all honoraria in an annual report to council, and that the proposed council policy CCAO 25 honorarium payments attached to the December 13, 2021 agenda report entitled Honorarium Payments Policy be approved as amended. Okay. Civic agency appointments. So this is going to take me a while. So the members of the public be appointed, this is the recommendation, sorry. The members of the public be appointed to the City of St. Albert civic agencies and to the City of St. Albert quasi-judicial, boards for terms effective January 1st, 2022, as specified in the attachment public appointments to the St. Albert civic agencies and quasi-judicial boards, which is attached to the civic agencies appointments agenda report dated December 20, 2021. And council, if you will give me some leniency, I'm not going to read all these names into the record. It was, we'll get it publicly. It was confidential until this passed, correct? So can we get this posted publicly now? And all these people will obviously get a letter of acceptance. And so I just really don't want to have to read 2 pages of names, but I will say 2 things on this. Thank you to Ledge for getting those quick changes done last week, and to council for reacting to those vacancies. And also I want to just thank everyone who did put their name forward. We had spent a full day on Saturday, November 17th, 27th, sometime in November, interviewing the multitude of St. Albert community members that want to give of their time to serve on these advisory committees. So to all those applied, those successful and those not so successful, I just want to thank you for your willingness to serve. All right, the budgets. I always laugh that we can pass these big giant budgets on consent. I guess after the days and days of debate, we're good. So on consent, it read that the 2022 consolidated municipal and utility budget in the amount of $301,883,300 and the net tax requirement of $117,432,700 as shown in the attachment titled 2022 consolidated budget be approved, that the 10-year municipal growth capital plan provided as an attachment titled 10-year municipal capital plan be approved, and that the 10-year utility growth capital plan provided as an attachment titled 10-year utility growth capital or utility capital plan be approved. And the next thing was not on consent. That was the appointment of our Chief Administrative Officer, intern, presented by me, I guess. But there's really no presentation other than Carrie, your name has been put forward. Thank you for your willingness to serve, and thank you for accepting our offer. And you know, there was really, you're the best choice for the job, and we're really happy to have you getting us through the next couple of months. So I'll look to, oh, Councilor Mackay's ready to go.
Yeah, we're on a roll here. I was going to say the same thing you did, so welcome.
I guess I should have saved that for debate. Put the motion on the floor, then we'll debate it.
Yeah, yeah. That Mr. Kerry Hills be appointed Chief Administrative Officer on an interim basis effective January 1st, 2022. And that from the effective date of his appointment, Mr. Hiltz shall have all the powers, duties, and responsibilities of a Chief Administrative Officer under any statute or regulation of the province of Alberta and under any bylaw or council policy of the city of St. Albert. Is there any scepter that, Kevin, you hand over to Carrie now at this particular time? An axe, baseball bat? Anyways.
All right, any comments?
No, like you mentioned all the comments. Welcome, thank you. And I mean, I don't know whether this is appropriate time. I mean, obviously, thank you very much, Mr. Scoble, for your effective leadership over this time, particularly over the last 21 months. Thank you exceedingly well. I mean, those are my comments. I'm hoping that we get.
I
an
was going to do
opportunity-
that at the end of the meeting.
I'm just going to say, I'm hoping that we get another opportunity to have this same conversation face to face, but welcome, Mr. Hiltz. Be careful what you wish for.
I don't know if you wished for this. Councillor Broadhead?
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor, and congratulations, Mr. Hiltz, and welcome, and thank you for accepting our offer. Madam Mayor, I did want to take just a moment, only because I'm not sure we're going to have a public opportunity to say thank you to Mr. Scoville here. It's been a joy working with you, and I've loved your passion for our community and for your innovative ideas in driving this city forward. And I wish you all the best as you go forward to Strathmore. Strathmore is well served by your appointment, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.
All right, I see no hands up on the Zoom call, so I'll call for the vote. Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously. Careful what you wish for. I can remember that one. Okay, back to the consent agenda. We had a first reading of Bylaw 55, 2021, which is an amendment 203 to the land use bylaw for redistricting of the Shiro area structure plan. And that public hearing is now scheduled for January 31st of 2022. All right. The utility bylaws need to have 3 readings. So let's go to that next. Diane, is there anything we need to know before we put these readings on the floor?
No, I don't believe so. Just be open to any questions. These are just the normal rate updates that are based on the approved utility operating and capital budgets. And then you'll also notice in the agenda report that we've sort of made a few text changes to the water bylaw to sort of clean up and fill some gaps that we had identified. So just if you had any questions on that.
All right, thank you for that. Any questions before I go to a motion? Okay, seeing none, I see you've got your hand up already. Oh, sorry, Mr. Killick, go ahead.
Question in terms of the proposed rates. Couple of questions. With regard to these rates going forward and impacting residents, are we also planning to change our franchise fee rates? Are they any change there, separate bylaw, but any changes being proposed?
No, not on the franchise fees. So the gas and electrical franchise fees are sort of a completely different process than our water utilities. So they're certainly not brought forward at the same time. But at this point, there's no plans or suggestions to make changes to those rates.
Thank you for that.
And just, Councillor Killick, the utility or the franchise fees are in a contract that we have, not in a bylaw.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. On the Schedule A of the water rates, I just want to make sure I read it correctly, that it's going from $10.21 to $11.14. The strike through was a little bit unclear to me when I looked at it.
Sorry, I'm just going to pull it up quickly.
Do you know what page that is, Councillor Killick?
23, not of the total package, but of that agenda item was page 23.
So on the water bylaw, though.
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I'll just give me half a second and I'll be there.
Thank you.
And that's the water flat rate charge you're referring to?
Yes.
Yes, so it's going actually from $11.21 down to $11.14.
It's
So it was 21 cents last year and now it's 14 cents, the flat rate. $11 though, as a flat.
okay. So it's sorry, going from,
So what schedule, are we in Schedule A?
Schedule A of the water bylaw.
Okay.
yeah, water. So it's
So in
going from,
2021, it was $11.21. And in 22, it's $11.14. So it went down 7 cents a month.
It
okay.
is kind of hard to read. But
Yeah.
And so with the water bylaw, is there a commercial rate? This is all residential. And is there a different schedule for commercial users?
No, there's not actually. So this is commercial, industrial, residential. Everybody pays the same rates. Where it differs sometimes is with the pipe sizes and meter sizes, and those kinds of things are different. Not even so much based on the business or the type of residence, but basically on the types of meters and connections and that kind of stuff that they need. If they need replaced, can be different.
Okay.
But there's not a different water rate for commercial versus residential.
And then on one of the other pages, on the storm sewer user fee, just not clear what a stacked residential unit means.
So that basically means an apartment building. So multifamily, that's like stories high. That's what they mean by stacked.
Okay. I thank you for that clarification. Pretty basic, but I just wasn't sure what I would be asked to approve. And on each one of the sheets, it says there's a supplemental capital contribution. Some that are brand new going on people's bills for storm sewer, for one, is going from 0 and it's now being added. But what does that supplemental capital contribution actually do?
Sure. So back in 2014, the Council of the Day approved a new utility fiscal policy. And so what had been basically happening over the years is that our variable rates and our flat rates were basically not capturing enough revenue to properly support the repair and maintenance of our assets. So our rates were very much understated for quite a few years. So the new policy, what it allowed us to do is that, so the variable rates and the flat rates do contribute to capital, but it wasn't enough. So what we've figured out, and we built a new model that calculates out basically what is our shortfall for capital. And so that's what we're calling a supplemental capital. So a portion of the money for capital comes through your variable and your flat rates. And then if there's any shortfall, it gets picked up through that supplemental fee. And that fee can actually change on an annual basis. So it's not that it's new to stormwater. It's just that last year, based on the storm 10-year plan, there was not a shortfall. And this year with the new 10-year plan, there was obviously new projects and stuff that had come onto the 10-year plan that made a small shortfall. So we had to introduce that fee to make that up. So it was there before. Most of the supplemental fees have been going down over the last 4 or 5 years. That's kind of how the model works, is that the rates will end up eventually kind of picking it up, but there may be a small shortfall each year in each category.
Okay. And I think I had just maybe one other question. No, that's good. Thank you. Thank you for the clarifications.
You're welcome.
all right, Councillor Broadhead, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that bylaw 58/2021 be read first time.
All right, I'll accept that motion. Do you have anything to add to that?
No, Madam Mayor, this is a bylaw that we pass at budget time every year, and it reflects the needs of our community over the coming year. And thanks for the questions, Councillor McKillick, because others in our community would have the same questions. So thank you for that.
All right, anyone else have any comments on the utility budget or bylaws? Seeing no hands up, I'll call for the vote. Voting is closed. That motion passes unanimously. Second reading, Councillor Broadhead.
I move that bylaw 58/2021 be read a second time.
All right, call for the vote on that one. Voting is closed. Passes unanimously. I need unanimous consent motion. How about Councillor Bermansky? You got that one? Councillor Bermansky, are you there?
Yes, it's on screen now, sorry. That unanimous consent be given for consideration of third reading of bylaw 58/2021.
Thank you for that. I'll call for the vote. Voting's closed. And that is unanimous, so we can go to third reading. Councillor Broadhead?
I move that bylaw 58/2021 be read a third time.
Awesome. Call for the vote. Voting's closed. That's unanimous. All right, utility bylaws are passed. We are racing through this agenda. All right. Yes, so the civic and external agencies, we are supposed to provide a written. Although, as you all know, I have a motion to eliminate that. So I think you all took that to heart and didn't submit anything this one. So I will go through the list of committees that we have appointed people to, and you can give a quick update. So the first committee that I've got on my list is the Alberta Capital Region Wastewater Commission. Councillor McKay, any updates?
Yeah, actually, we've met a couple of times. Last Friday was the second time, and one where we actually set our budget for 2022 moving forward. But other than that, specifics, I believe our administration within the commission has already been in contact with the CAO and also other members of administration within the city. So that's kind of my update.
Budget's done?
Yeah, the budget's done for the Alberta Capital Region Wastewater Commission.
Awesome. Okay, next committee I have on my list is the Arts Development Advisory Committee. Councillor Bermansky, that's yours. Have there been any meetings this last month?
Sorry, there's no updates there.
Okay, it's all good. Councillor Killick, how about the Community Service Advisory Committee?
Nothing to update on that one.
All right. I don't think Edmonton Global has met. EMRB, Councillor McKay.
Yeah, we.
No, actually, it was Councillor Broadhead that attended that one.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
I was actually just going to throw it over.
Just nod it over to him. Councillor Broadhead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So we met and it was the first organizational meeting of the year for the MRB. And so the various subcommittees were filled with representatives from around the region. And St. Albert is on the Audit and Finance Committee. And so, Madam Mayor, I moved your motion and it failed at that meeting. However, and the motion was to simply review the construct of the MSRP. And in talking with the governance and HR committee chair, that will be looked at in the near future. They just weren't prepared to look at it at the meeting.
That's fine.
So
That's fine.
in any case, it was a good organizational meeting. Mayor Joy from Stony Plain is the chair of the MRB at this time.
Awesome. And I appreciate you attending.
It was my pleasure. Thank you.
And what you're next to, because Audit and Finance Committee is the next on my list. Did they meet?
So we meet in January,
Okay.
but we have not met yet.
Okay. And we'll have to take off the Regional Servicing Committee off of this list because you just got a free evening.
For a short term.
I tried, Councillor.
We'll see. what we
I
can do.
tried.
Wes, it's still with you because the next on my list is the transit.
Yes, so it's been actually a busy month for the Edmonton Metropolitan Transit Services Commission. So just like every board and commission, there was an organizational committee meeting. And so the Audit and Finance Committee there, as well as the HR and Compensation Committee, were We're staffed by municipal representatives from the region. Yours truly was reappointed to be the chair of the TSC.
Everyone
was-
took a step back and left you standing in front.
That was pretty much the way it was. Yeah. So in any way, it was good. There was certainly a lot of work that was done during the month of November, simply because we had our budget presented here last week. And I know council has received a briefing in relation to that. But the work is ongoing. We're now getting down to the very real task of operationalizing a plan that's been built over the last number of years. So,
Awesome. And you have one more. Edmonton salutes?
Edmonton salutes, yes.
You might
So-
have more, but you're the next one in line.
Yeah, no, well, we had, unfortunately, I wasn't able to make the Edmonton Salutes Committee meeting at the end of November. Had a conflict with a personal event. However, on Friday, we had our Christmas celebratory lunch at the art gallery.
Nice.
And yeah, it was gratifying to get together with all of those regional municipalities, as well as committee members from Edmonton itself, and representatives of the military community, just to celebrate the season.
That's awesome. All right, next on my list is the Edmonton Waste Minimization Advisory Committee. That's yours, Councillor Hughes.
And we haven't had a meeting yet. So
Haven't met
nothing's been
yet.
put in my calendar anyway, so.
All right, and then we have not had a meeting of the Emergency Management Advisory Committee. We did get a tour of the EOC. It looks fantastic. Councillor Killick, how about the Environmental Advisory Committee? Have they met?
They did have one meeting to finalize their year-end report, which has been drafted up and been signed off, I think, by all members. So they'll be able to distribute that to council. If it's not already in people's mailboxes, should be very shortly.
Okay.
And it did contain a couple of good recommendations around having more verbatim minute taking, so that some of the good ideas put forward by members were not lost, as opposed to just a high level type of minutes. So people wanting to capture a bit more detail in there. So,
All right, thank you for that. Councillor Jolly, Homeland Housing. Looks like they've been
Yeah, Homeland's been quite busy. So we had our org meeting back in November. So I was reelected chair, and then Mayor Larger from Westlock was elected our vice chair, which is great. We approved our budget last week. So that includes a 2.5% increase to the requisition to municipalities. And with that, we discussed that the provincial downloading is hitting Homeland hard as well. So de-indexing of grants for low-income seniors living in our properties, and also our capital budget is now only on an emergency basis. So there's no proactive capital funds available provincially. So we'll have to figure out a sustainable plan going forward. And we were able to squeak it in at our meeting last week that we did direct the CEO to enter into negotiations with the city of St. Albert on that St. Thomas Street property. So I'm glad that happened sooner than later. So I'm looking forward to seeing the results of those negotiations. That's all we have.
That is exciting. The Intercity Forum on Social Policy, I don't think it's met. Has it, Councillor Bermansky? Councillor Bermansky, has it met?
You're on mute, Shelley.
My mute's not working so well today. No, it hasn't. Sorry.
I can advise you that at the Alberta Municipalities meeting on Thursday, we did all our appointments. We have Alberta Municipality reps on lots of different committees. And Councillor Ken Mackay was appointed to this intercity policy, that one. So you guys will be sitting there together. So that'll be good. We haven't had a meeting of the Internal Audit Committee. Councillor Mackay, anything on policing?
Yeah, we met twice in that short time. Last meeting was December 7th. We had a presentation by Corporal McCarran with the RCMP Sexual Assault Review Coordinator. Very informative, very raw. We also had an update in relation to some of the opioid issues that are ongoing within our community and the Edmonton region, which are also, I was going to use the term again, raw. It's okay. What happened up till then? Yeah, so we met. It was the last meeting of the current chair, Dr. Christopher Wells. He decided he wasn't going to put his name forward to sit on a committee. His leadership and as a founding member will be missed, but provides a new opportunity for others to step forward. And there was a lot on relation to some planning that is going forward because the policing committee in St. Albert are going to host the upcoming Alberta Association of Police Governance conference in April, I believe. So anyways, that's it for that.
Excellent. Pretty sure the quasi-judicial standing committee did not meet. Recreation hasn't met either. Seniors, Councillor Hughes.
There's no meeting until January.
Okay, perfect. And IAC hasn't met yet. Did this Watershed Alliance meet?
Yes, it did meet. I unfortunately was away on personal business, but Councillor Brumansky did attend for me. I don't
Excellent.
know if the agenda looked pretty light, so may not be too much to update, but
Does he owe you a beer, Councillor Brumansky? Did he send you to a hard meeting?
No, it was more of an introduction and just getting to know each other and what's going on in the region with their other, North Saskatchewan River group as well. So nothing, that I need to relay out of the meeting at this point.
Okay, perfect. And then I think the last one I have on my list is the Youth Advisory Committee, Councillor Jolly.
Yeah, the youth committee managed quorum for the first time in about 6 months. So we did meet, mostly introductions as well.
All right. Okay. So if the motion that I put forward to not do written passes, I think that's what I just did now would be a good way to get our updates. It kind of keep us focused on the committees that you are. If there's anything else you want to update us on, this is now a time to put up your hand. If not, we will move on. All right. Information requests, notice of motion, or announcements. Councillor Broadhead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. For an information request, please canvass the municipalities in the Edmonton Metropolitan region in relation to the various sign regulations in relation to properties that are zoned public service, PS here in St. Albert, or the equivalent in their municipalities. Specifically, are freestanding electronic signs permitted in any municipalities within the region? If so, what types of properties are allowed these types of signs? And are there any specific limitations related to the use if they are?
Thank you. You'll send that in?
That's it. Yes, I did send it in. Thanks.
I like watching you too, because Kevin's like, not my problem. He's like, what? Councillor Hughes, I see your hand up.
Yeah, I know we had a discussion about it a few minutes ago, but I just wanted to acknowledge Mr. Scoble, that's just your last meeting, and to thank you for all the work you've put in for the past 6 years. And also just to acknowledge that we have gotten through this pandemic, especially like economically as a city, well, because of the leadership that you took on immediately, recognizing what needed to be done and not understating what needed to be done, basically. Many municipalities would have waited before they started taking on a lot of economic concerns or plans, and you took right away. So I think that your experience that you had in Wood Buffalo translated to really helping us through the past 2 years. And I just wanted to acknowledge that because you've put us in a situation where financially we're not nearly in a situation that most other municipalities would be facing. had you not recognized what needed to be done and then take that appropriate action. So I just wanted to thank you for everything that you put forward for the past 6 years. It is your dedication to looking at fiscal responsibility. And we may not always agreed about the solutions, but your intentions and my intentions have always been the same in trying to make sure that we are fiscally responsible. And you have made difficult decisions to make sure that that does happen, and really kept that focus there more than I've seen in previous city managers. So thank you for everything. I wish you the best as you move forward. Yes, there was many things that you did to really improve our community, and I wanted to acknowledge that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hughes. All right, I guess it's been all over the map. I was going to open it up at the end of the meeting to say some things for Kevin, but it's been all over. So if anyone else wants to say a few words to Mr. Scoble, this will be his last council meeting, and likely because it's the Christmas holidays, the last time we'll see him in person for a while. So anyone else? I know. Right. I'll just say, Kevin, oh, Councillor Jolly, go ahead.
Yeah, really briefly, you know, Kevin often gets, you know, pats on the back for, you know, he's great fiscally. He finds places where we can do better. But my favorite story to tell people about Kevin is a couple of years ago, pre-COVID. There was an rainstorm that caused ice. So ice was everywhere outside of the building in St. Albert. And the image I have in my head is Kevin walking around with those ice cleats and like scolding everybody, talking about how they need to be careful walking out of the building. And to me, I think that was one of the big things that I learned from you, Kevin, is that you care about people, and you know, it matters that people stay safe here. And that came through in certainly your leadership through the pandemic, but you know, also in taking hits for this council, and taking hits for your staff, and giving your staff the space to be really successful and to learn. So I'm very appreciative of all that I've learned from you and your leadership over the last 4 years. So thank you very much, and stay in touch.
There is a big box of those cleats sitting up on the third floor. If you want some, that's what we got for Christmas one year, was ice cleats for our city manager. Councillor Killett, go ahead.
I wish I had stories and history to rely on, but I have a very short history, and it's all during orientation. And I can say the way, Kevin, you have set your staff up to operate so professionally, in such a helpful manner, in a very accommodating manner to new members of council, I think speaks highly of, will be your legacy here in St. Albert, of how you've engaged your people to help new council members, as I've experienced in my very, very short time here. So I think when people move on, we often think that we're losing something. What my experience has been is you've left behind something very valuable here. And that is exemplified in the way your staff have helped me during orientation, and you're to be applauded for that. So thank you very much. And again, thank you for helping me kind of get my feet beneath me on a pretty icy sidewalk. So thank you.
Kevin, there's lots of nice words been said, you know, about how you've been fiscally focused, and you know, you were the right person to be at the head of the ship during a pandemic. There's no question about that. I said that continually last 22 months, how grateful I was that you had the experiences you did from other municipalities when you came here and were faced with an emergency. You were the first city manager I had as mayor, and we had to figure out our own style. And I think I definitely would call you a friend. And I mean, we've had 3 city managers plus, a couple interims here and there. And I think you of all of them really understand the role of city manager and the governance style. I think you and I bounced ideas off of each other, and there was never a question about who did what. So I really appreciated that. Your outside the box thinking is unique, I think, in a city manager. I think lots of city managers just come to the role thinking we're going to run the city using taxes or fees. And you really were focused on that revenue source outside of that because you understood the pressures our community was going through. So, and one thing I would say that you have left with me is an impression of the role that we have as an elected, and it's the public servants in the corporation. That's our role. But the fact that our residents have to take responsibility for many things themselves, such as the ice cleats is a perfect example. There's not much we can do about the ice on the roads right now. We do our best, but people have to put on snow tires or they have to put on spikes on their shoes. There's a responsibility we have as residents to give back to this community as well. And what is it? Do not ask what you can do for your country, ask what you can, the phrase. You've said it to me 100 times. So that is something I don't hear very often in an elected role, that this is a team effort. This is not about the city. It's not about the community. It's about a society, and we all have a role to play in society. So you taught me that. So best of luck. I know Strathmore is getting a great city manager, and I do hope to see you at many Alberta municipality conventions, maybe at mid-size one day. And and even if it's not work related, if you're passing through St. Albert, make sure you come and say hi. All right. And we're going for beer after, so you'll be there.
Yeah, if I might, could I mention a couple quick words? Okay.
This is your chance. Yep.
All right. Again, so yes, thank you to all 3 councils I've served in St. Albert now for your trust and your confidence in me. We, council and administration in partnership, as the mayor described, we've successfully addressed the short to medium term. Costs are managed, debt is still low, and what has been taken out has been very purposeful and strategic. The reserves are healthy and haven't been significantly tapped, which is a growing trend these days in municipalities. And on a net basis are actually increasing through council's direction, recognizing the looming deficiencies on the horizon. St. Albert has become renowned for its green tape. In hindsight, perhaps more in the investment community than the local community, which is positively impacting the non-residential to residential tax ratio, albeit it still has a long ways to go and it'll take a decade or more to reach your goal. But we have created a good problem here with significant shortage of service land and vacant large commercial properties with recent successes and announcements. And, all the while we've done that maintaining the high quality of life that St. Albert residents cherish and which is consistently ranked the highest in the province. So which does lead to our medium to long-term outlook, which does continue to need to be addressed to maintain the momentum and successes that we've achieved to maintain the quality of life and minimize the future tax burden for both existing residents and businesses. It's not about one or the other, it's about providing benefit and mitigation to both. So I hope that I hope that I've left a good enough roadmap with enough forks in the road at waypoints along the way, to choose from on your journey to whatever destination you decide on by whatever route you take. And then finally, my sincerest appreciation, respect, and thanks to administration for your perseverance, dedication, and advice. Your performance is exemplary and as good as or better than any large organization, private or public, that I've worked for in my 29-year career in both sectors. And your sense of purpose to the greater good is unparalleled in any organization that I've served. I am a better CAO, a better resident, and a better person for all that you've given to and shared, shared with me. And I wish you all the best for an enjoyable and successful future.
Thank you. All right. We have a few things in camera. One of them is time specific for 4 o'clock. With your indulgence, council, I would like to do the rec sorry, the land acquisition for Fowler Way project first. Forgot to amend the agenda, but as long as I have consent, I'm good with that. Looking at you, David, but we're good to just switch the order up? Yeah, that's what I thought. And the only reason I'm saying that is there could potentially be a public motion coming out of that one. And then once that agenda item is done, then we can do the other three and we can let our ledge staff go home. So if you are fine, I'd like to move on to 15.3 first. So I need a motion to go in camera.
I'll do it, Mayor Hahn.
Okay, go ahead.
The council move in camera to discuss the matter pursuant to section 25(1)(c) of FOIP.
All right, call for the vote. Call for the vote, Mayor. Okay, there you go. Voting's closed. That passes unanimously. So I need to become the host now? Oh, I am the host. Perfect. All right. And we'll, Councillor Hughes, Jolly, and Bramansky, we're going to go into the council lounge. So give us a couple minutes and then you'll get a notification to move into a breakout room.
I was gonna say, I didn't mean to joke with Kevin. I was gonna joke with you that
Okay, I need a motion to reconvene in public. Councillor Mackay?
That we reconvene in public.
All right, do we get Shelley, Natalie, and they're all back?
Oh, wait, then I better move. Wait.
Okay, all right, call for the vote. That's okay. Voting's closed, I'm assuming, or who are we waiting for? We're good? Oh, me. Voting's closed. Motion passes unanimously. All right, we're back in public. Can you put the motion on the screen and I'll ask somebody to make it? Okay, so the motion we need is that the Chief Administrative Officer is authorized to acquire on behalf of the City of St. Albert the lands legally described as Plan 9922549 Block A Lot 1C for a purchase price of 1.425 million, inclusive of appraised value and incidental transaction costs and avoided costs of expropriation, with the source of funding being the previously approved capital budget for the land acquisition for the Fowler Way project. Who wants to make it? Mike does? Councillor McKillick? You don't have to read the whole thing. I just realized I did. So you can say so moved. Thank you for that.
So moved.
All right. Anything on debate on that? No. How about at home? Shelley, Sheen, or Natalie, you're good? All right. I'll call for the vote. Voting's closed, and that is unanimous. All right, now we need to go back in camera for, I think it's the second in camera one, the recreation opportunity. So can I have a member of council make a motion to go back in camera? Councillor Broadhead, go ahead.
I move that council move in camera to discuss a matter pursuant to section 24(1)(e) and section 25(1)(c) of the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act.
Awesome. Call for the vote. All right, voting's closed. And that passes unanimously. All right, ladies, I'll go bring you back to the breakout room, and I think the rest of you guys can go home for the night, although there are burgers being delivered. So.
I think we have to click on the breakout room option at the bottom, guys. Just isn't popping up automatically.